Hi, I want to talk about anger today. It's been a theme that's been coming up in the recent weeks within therapy sessions, particularly within family therapy, and how parents can support their kids with anger, as sometimes anger can actually be expression of anxiety. So sometimes our kids will have anxiety that will be explosive, not implosive, and how do we understand that? So the first thing I think that's really important for adults or the big people in kids' lives is for their kids, but also to have this lens and understanding when we're thinking about adults as well, is that anger is actually a form of communication around there is something wrong in my world. I'm out of skills and I don't know how to change it. I'm asking you for help to bring about this change, which can actually change the glasses, if you like, that we're wearing when we look at someone who's expressing anger. So try and remember when your little ones or your partner or yourself is feeling angry, that it's really an expression of there's something wrong and I don't have the skills to cope or change what's wrong right now, and I need your help. The expression can either be drawing people in to help create that change, or it can be pushing them away, which is where it's our job as parents or big people in kids' lives is to give them healthy ways to express that anger. So that's kind of the first thing is the understanding that we bring for ourselves and the knowledge that we have, how we communicate that to our kids. So when they're angry, really clearly saying, I can see you're really angry. I would also add in there, if it's anger at us, add in there that it's okay to be angry at us. Because it is, right? They have the feeling. And if it's around a boundary that we're setting, it's totally actually understandable that they will be angry at us for setting that boundary. And it's totally healthy and normal for their brain development to have that feeling. And it's our awesome job as their big people, as their guardians, to give them strategies around that emotional regulation and to have words and literacy around what their internal world is. And that comes from us. They're not going to innately learn that. It's not something that's biologically wired, other than the fact that we need connection, which is where that co-regulation, that beautiful thing of co-regulation and being when they're little, up until about 7, if not till 12 and 14 and 16, right? That we're helped by being regulated outside of ourselves by the big people's brains and hearts around us. So bringing that understanding to what's happening, and then we kind of want to be setting boundaries. So you can work out the mantra that helps for you, and it can be, I can see you're really angry. I can see you're really angry at me. I can see you're angry at me for setting this boundary or saying no. And all of that is okay. Depending on how they're expressing the anger, but you cannot hit me, but you cannot hit your brother, but you cannot throw things. And then that's where we can look at they're lagging a skill. What skill do we need to teach them? So there's awesome people out there who teach brilliant strategies around how to deal with anger that can be confronting for some people, in the sense of it might be that it's a physical outlet of going and punching a punching bag, or if you don't have that, a pillow, a bed, the blankets, whatever it is, but we frame that in a really healthy way. That I can see you've been having some really big feelings. Let's go and get all of those feelings out in this really safe domain that's structured, and I'm going to hold that space that all your big feelings can be expressed by punching on the bag, not mummy or daddy, or not your younger brother or bigger brother or sister. And that's where it's held in that place, in that healthy place of expressing that anger. The other part of that would be to check in with you as the big person in their lives and what's coming up for you with seeing their anger. If you have little voices or programs running that kids should always be happy, or I should make my kid happy all the time, or if they're being angry, that's an indication that I'm not a good enough parent, and checking in with those, your bully voice, your anxious voice, your sad voice, and listening to what that's saying, because that's about you and something that you have to heal, and not put on our kids to heal. They're having their anger over something being wrong in their world, and how do we help them create a safer world for them? It's not necessarily fixing the problem, right? If it's that their younger sister or younger brother has taken their toy, perfectly okay to be angry about that. And depending on their age, it's actually not neurologically wired to share, depending on their age. It's not going, oh, go and get your toy for them and get it back. And that's, that's not okay that they snatched, and I'm going to go and get it back. So you stop crying, or you stop being angry, and I'm going to somewhat band-aid it, and I'm not going to give you the skill to cope. I'm just going to fix. It's not about fixing. It's about allowing them to have their feeling and express it, and that we hold it in a safe way. And there's lots of skills around how we do that, which I'll talk about in another video, in how we have a self-tuning in toolkit, how we have a calming kit, how we use those skills in our life toolbox. And it's really, for me, one of our things is our jobs as a parent is to give our kids as many skills as we possibly can for them to have in their life toolbox. So for this video, the first one that I'd like us to kind of be implementing with our kids is around anger, and that we have an understanding, and that we give them that understanding to put in their toolbox, that it's really saying there's something wrong in my world and I need help to fix it, because I don't have skills to fix it right now. Because if I did, I would be fixing it, and I would be regulated, and I'd have literacy around it to share it with other people. So I obviously don't in this moment. They might have tomorrow or yesterday had that skill, because we don't know what else is happening inside them in this moment. They might have sensory overload and they can't use those skills that they might have had either side. Might be hungry, tired. So the first thing, bringing the understanding, which is a tool, understanding is a tool, to what anger means. Then bringing the understanding that I can have this feeling, and it is okay to have this feeling. And it's okay that I express it in these ways. And it's not okay for me to express them in these ways, because it's not getting my need met. When I express in these ways, it pushes people away. When I express it in these ways, it brings people, and they come and help me. And it's our job as big people to delight in our kids no matter what. Whether they're having these big challenging feelings, for them and for us to witness that they're still lovable, that they're still good enough, that they're still worthwhile human beings. And it's our job as the big people to create that environment for them. So whether it's happiness and pride and delight that they're giving and sharing, or if it's anger and frustration and disappointment and shame, that they're still good enough and lovable and worthwhile in those moments as well. Because we're all of those things, all of us. We have them all, and we want them to know that they're not their feelings, that feelings come and go like visitors, that at their essence they're okay, and it's how we work with those visitors when they come, and that I still see you. And that's a tool that we want them to have forever. So I'm going to be talking more about the self-tuning in tips around what we would do with the anger as well, talking tactics and how we actually talk and share our feelings and what's wrong, and also some calming tips in other videos around having a toolkit around how we calm ourselves, as well as those other things that I mentioned. Thanks, guys.